Hey, Scorpio 2019. You're in advance reading, okay? So I've shuffled the deck and I'm going to cut it in front of you. This is the way I do readings, okay? If you're not familiar with me, this is the way it's done. So while I cut, let's talk for a second, okay? This is going to be for Scorpio Sun, Scorpio Moon, Scorpio Rising, or Ascendant. A Rising and Ascendant is the same thing, just a different way of saying it, okay? So if you're any one of those, this video, you're going to want to watch it. You also probably would like to watch it if your spouse, your partner, your best friend, your children, what have you, somebody important to you is a Scorpio Sun or Moon or Rising, okay? So we've cut the deck, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull from the top, and I'm going to put 4 across and 4 and 4. Okay, so we have January, February, March, and April, May, June, July, August, September 2019, October 2019, November, and December, okay? Here is your 2019 year in advance. Now, I so want to pull a prank on you guys and say, okay, thanks for watching, bye. But no, that's not what we're doing, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and start getting this read. Before we start reading, though, I want to say, okay, this is a general reading. It's for all Scorpios. It might make perfect sense to you. It might have some parts that you're going, Maria, you're full of it. Okay, if that's happening, it's because that particular card might not be picking up exactly what's up for you. If you want a reading that is just for you, you can get a reading that's just for you, and I'll tell you how at the end of the video, okay? Okay, let's get started. January 2019. Instinct. Oh, look at this card. Okay. We have a lot of snow. We have some mountains. We've got some snow-topped trees. We've got a lot of ice. And we have the wolf. Okay, so in the background, we've got mountains. And the wolf has turned his back to mountains. I'm going to say the wolf is you for the moment. And the reason I'm saying that is because it's the moving, living character that is in the card, okay? So it's signifying you. And the back is turned to the mountains. So this wolf is trying to refuse acknowledging something that needs an uphill struggle. It doesn't want to do this. It doesn't want to learn this. It doesn't want to do it. It doesn't want to climb it. It doesn't want to deal with it. Okay? So Scorpio, what are you dealing with? What do you know is in the distance? What do you know you're going to have to do some work on and you just don't want to? Okay, it's there. You should acknowledge it. You should probably get it done with, because if not, it's going to keep following you. Okay, now, the water signifying emotion has been frozen over, and that's also behind the wolf. So, what has caused you to have very cold feelings? What has caused you to have frozen feelings? What emotions are you trying to refuse to feel? And the whole picture here is just like ice. Everywhere it's ice, it's snow, it's cold, right? Scorpio, why are you being so cold? And you guys are cold most of the time anyways, so this is just kind of kicking it up a little bit. What's going on? Take some time. When you watch this video, after watching this video, sit down and actually think what's going on. Okay, the face in the mountain, I'm seeing a face right here in this mountain. And it having so much fog around it. Do you even know why you're acting like this, Scorpio? Do you even know why you don't want to go up that mountain? You need to take some time to think it out. February. Shape-shifting. And there's those damn mountains again. Okay, so this is telling me in January, you didn't get it done. It's still there. It's still following you. So in February, if you don't get it done, it'll follow you into March. Now, the clouds are thoughts. But because they're on top of water, precipitation creates clouds. Water is emotion. Where are your thoughts going? What are your emotions? How come you're focused so much on them? Why are you still refusing to get through them? Scorpio, you're really in tune to knowing what's going on with everybody else. Nothing can be hidden from you. So why are you hiding from yourself? And that shape-shifting as the key word here, that just confirms it for me. Why are you hiding from yourself? Why would you rather be something else than yourself so that way you don't have to deal with it? Okay, March. Completion and a full moon, finally. And we've got some mountain. Okay. It looks like you finally, in February, decided to deal with whatever's been following you for the past few days, few months. We've got some clouds here. You see that? So you're still kind of keeping some thoughts going. You're still kind of not very happy with it. This tree has had some damage to it. Look at this particular branch looks like it's probably really close to broken. These branches have been broken. We can't see if it's dying. We can't see if it is in a healthy state. We just know that there's some broken branches on this tree. Whatever you got through the past 2 months really took a toll on you, right? But it's done. You can take a deep sigh of relief. It's done. Let's move on. Okay? And we have communication. And we also have a full moon again. Okay, so what are we communicating with, Scorpio? Because you guys aren't really big on talking to other people, but you are really big on using a intuitive language, I'm going to call it. And I know a lot of Scorpios, so I'm trying to be very careful right here because I know they're going to message me and they're going to go, Maria, I'm going to kill you. What kind of reading was that? But, okay. So Scorpio, oh, look at that. I've never seen that. He's got a book right there. Okay. This guy, and we're going to say you're the guy again, okay? You've gotten through a load of crap. You've gotten through those mountains. You're at a place of completion. And I'm thinking, and I don't like the way that the cards were set up to do this, but I'm thinking if we were to like take this card and flip the image, right? So the bird is on this side, the cliff and the dude are on this side. Take a look at this. I'm going to put them all back over here for just a second because this is really interesting. So you had nature aspects and this mountain that you refused to go on. So you kind of like walked around to try to get around the mountain. So here you've walked around the mountain. You've got the water still going on, right? Here's the other side of the mountain. But there's that mountain still right there. There's mountains everywhere. You need to get over the mountains. So you finally understand this and you get up the mountain. You're going up the mountain, up the mountain, up the mountain. Getting over this mountain is finally done, right? So I want you to follow with me for just a minute. And this image has been flipped, okay? So the guy is sitting over here and the eagle is over here. Getting through that mountain, getting to the top of that mountain, being able to sit down on that cliff and communicate with your higher self, with your divinity, with your spiritual sides, knowing that your intuition, the moon is intuition, knowing it's complete. The hard work you had to do is done. You're sitting here, you're resting. But that hard work you had to do was tuning into your own spiritual side, tuning into your own higher self, tuning into your own divinity. Not watching everybody else's Scorpio because you're awesome at that, but you don't like to see it on yourself. Okay? So what kind of communication are you going to be doing in April once you've gotten through all of this crap? What kind of note taking are you taking? Because I swear I've never seen that notebook there. What does your spiritual side have to tell you? Now, again, take a look at the guy. He's extremely strong. Makes me think of that wolf. See? Strong wolf, strong man. That also brings in like the shape-shifting card. But anyways, he's extremely strong. He's not exhausted after avoiding this mountain for 2 months and finally getting up the mountain and finally sitting down to be able to do what he's got to do at that mountain. He is in a complete state of awe with that eagle. Their communication has him totally absorbed. He doesn't care what anybody else is doing. He doesn't care that we're sitting here talking about him. He doesn't care that we're watching him. He is so in tune with the communication that he's got with his intuition, with his higher self, with spirituality, with divinity, with whatever you want to call it. He could care less. Okay? So all of the stuff you've been avoiding for the year, you really didn't need to avoid it. Okay? All right. Hold on just a second. Instinct, which is your intuition, right? The moon is intuition. The moon is intuition. Your intuition is kicking into overdrive regarding yourself. So be very, very aware of that and quit fighting it. All right? May. New beginnings. Did you finally stop fighting your intuition, Scorpio? Looks like you did. Okay, so what do we have here in the new beginnings? We've got the mountain again. But if you were, here are my fingers that are you, right? You climbed up the mountain, up the mountain, up the mountain. And then you were sitting there on the cliff talking to your spirituality, right? Now what's left of the mountain? Nothing more than to come down the mountain. Okay? So you're going to have a little bit of work to get down the mountain. You don't want to just drop and roll down the mountain. You don't want to get a sled and just sled down the mountain. Although some of the Scorpios I know, you guys are thinking that's a really great idea. You could jump off the mountain. Please don't. But take a look around when you're coming down from this uphill battle. Okay? Look at how lush everything is. Look at how green everything is. Look at how much growth there is. Okay, so let's come back over here to these images for a minute. These mountains, they look barren. They look pure rock, right? There's nothing growing there. These mountains, same thing. Nothing is growing there. The mountain the dude's sitting on, same thing. Nothing is growing there. The mountain, when you finally come down, Plant City, Abundance City, Growth City. Do you see this? Take a look right here. We've got, oh, come on, camera. We've got like berries growing here. We have water, your emotions. Your emotions are nice and calm again. There's sun rays coming through here, spirituality. In May, you're going to be having a lot of growing on various aspects. Be open to all of it, okay? Okie dokie, Scorpio. June. We have a lot of sun rays again. And we've got those pesky mountains again. But take a look. We can't see anything besides the tips of the mountains and the tips of the trees. There is so much fog everywhere that our keyword is even veiled, hidden. Why are your thoughts preventing you from this again? Okay? And the reason I'm saying this is because fog is associated with thoughts. But fog I associate with emotions also, because emotions are water. Fog happens because there's too much water in the air and it gets pushed closer to the ground, right? The clouds are getting pushed closer to the ground. So, what thoughts and what emotions are preventing you from seeing what needs to be seen? Preventing you from seeing your path? Preventing you from moving, because how are you going to move in the fog? You can't see anything. Okay? Pay attention in June. And please don't run into any mountains because you're not seeing where you're walking. That would not be fun. July. More mountains, just different style. And see this guy's cliff? What if that was the cliff he was sitting on? Could be. Okay, so you've got a vision quest happening. And I want you to take a look at the picture. First, let's kind of come out a little bit. You're in the desert. What are you going to pay attention to, right? Some cactus? There's not even cactus in this picture. But when we start coming in closer, there's the plant life. And I live in the desert, so I can tell you there's a lot of plant life. This is just what was easiest to be drawn. Inside of each one, or under, around, within each of these little bushes and plants, there are tons of lizards, tarantulas, spiders, snakes, Gila monsters. There's all kinds of life here. Okay? I'm seeing this for the first time. What does that look like? Some other kind of growth. But let's take a look at these cliffs and mountains now. There are some of these cliffs that have caves carved out of them that have become, or were at one time, homes. They were places of protection. Okay? Take a look in here. So first it just looks like a crevice, right? Let's see if we can zoom in there enough. Do you see that person in there? And I don't mean it's like a human person, but it is a human person. Here we have a face, and we have black hair that's loose and flowing. And I don't know what this part could be. Maybe it's part of her arm. Maybe she's holding something out as an offering. Maybe she's like holding out candles. But do you see that? There is so much life in places where you don't even acknowledge life at first glance. There is so much hidden in places where you don't even realize it at first glance. In July, after you had so much hidden from you, you're starting to notice. Okay? I'm going to say this is something you do all of the time. You always notice things from other people, but try to direct it more towards yourself in July. Okay? Try to keep it more inward in July. What's going on around you? What's happening for you? What's changing for you? Okay? August. Movement. Oh, but look at this movement. Do you see any movement besides in the river? I don't see any movement besides in the river. But this is just 1 second, one photograph in thousands and thousands and thousands of seconds within a day. Millions and millions and millions of seconds within a month. I don't even want to think how many seconds within a year. Okay? So, just because we can't see change, just because we can't see movement, doesn't mean it's not happening. Growth is constantly happening. I mean, take a look at the palm trees there in the back. Can you see them growing? Not in this picture. But what if we were to get a picture of the exact same place, exactly the camera was set up, exactly the same, a year, 5 years, 10 years later? We would see a difference, right? Especially if nobody's changing anything. Okay. So I'm going to take this card back, and I'm going to have you look at something. So your first trimester of the year was about you avoiding some work you had to do, but you finally give in and you finally get it done, and it turns out to be amazing, right? The second trimester of the year has got a lot to do with the first. And actually, these aren't trimesters. Or maybe they are, yeah. Okay. It has a lot to do with the first. It's just building on that first trimester, right? You've got a new way of seeing things, but then something happens and you don't see it. And then you've got this whole new outlook of stuff, but you're looking at the main picture. You're looking at the big picture instead of getting really in there and looking at everything. Okay? Instead of being really in there and looking at everything, you're looking at the big picture. Scorpio, you don't do this for everybody else. Why do you do it for yourself? Why are you avoiding everything? What are you afraid of? And I mean, Scorpio, you've got poison. What are you afraid of? And I'm saying this because of the association to the scorpion, okay? And also your words at times. All right, so September. Celebration. Okay, so it looks to me like you've gotten to a point where you understand now. And you're starting to celebrate. What are you celebrating? Your own perception of yourself? Your own understanding of yourself? Being able to get through all of that so that way you can see yourself in a different way? Right? But Scorpio, for this card, all I'm seeing is brown. I'm not seeing a lot of growth. I'm seeing this house right here is like totally protected. Look at how many twigs, branches are around that house to keep it protected. It looks like this one is intending to do the same. There is grass around here, but it's kind of like that desert grass, right? And there's just something about this woman right now for you that it looks to me like she was running and got stopped. Maybe the bullets started flying. So I know the card says celebration, but are you feeling like the celebration, what you're supposed to be happy with, is a death? Why do you feel this way? Why do you feel like you're being attacked? And I can hear the Scorpios I know telling me, because you're attacking me, Maria. No, I'm not. I just need you to see some things that the cards want you to see, okay? All right. October 2019. Solitude. You're going to need to spend some time alone. Sorry about that. I almost dropped you too. You need to spend some time alone in October. And this probably isn't that bad for you. It's probably really comfortable for you. You are tired of being on this internal search through yourself. And you need some time to recoup and regroup. Not recruit, although we can use that. That's my new word, okay? You need some time to really sit back and think about everything that's been going on for the year. Especially since this month we're getting very close to your birthday time. Happy birthday. And if it's not an October Scorpio, happy birthday for November, before November. The end of the month brings in a lot of death energy, right? A lot of ending energy. And where you usually thrive on that, this year I'm feeling like it's kind of against you. You don't like it this year. This year feels too personal to you, right? And you just want to back away and not look at anything. Go ahead and do that, Scorpio. If that's what you need to refresh yourself, you do that, okay? But I want to remind you, Scorpio, because your God, the God that is associated to your sign, is Pluto or Hades, the king of the underworld, pretty much the king of death. He doesn't reap anybody, but he is pretty much the king of death. You guys are very powerful in creating little mini deaths for yourself and then coming back stronger than ever. This year has been that. This year has been understanding what creates your mini death so that way you can come back, so that way you can shed your skin. Scorpions shed. I know a lot of people don't know that, or they don't want to think about it because, oh my God, a scorpion. Ugh. But scorpions shed. October is your time to do that. Find a quiet place all by yourself, get comfy, shed, come back stronger than ever. Okay? All right. November, and again, happy birthday, Novembers. Vulnerability. Okay, I just told you to shed. What happens when an animal with an exoskeleton sheds? They are much more vulnerable because they don't have that outer shell. So if you did shed in October, you're going to be very vulnerable in November still because your shell hasn't gotten hard yet. Your exoskeleton hasn't gotten hard yet. It's an okay time to surround yourself with the things that you love, to surround yourself with things that are beautiful, to surround yourself with things that will protect you because nothing can see you. That's perfectly fine, okay? I do want you to be aware. If there are family members that make you more vulnerable, that attack you, which I don't know how could possibly be even a possibility because, I mean, Scorpio, you're Scorpio. Be very careful with that. Take that into consideration. I mean, like in October, if you know you're going to be shedding and you're going to be vulnerable in November, avoid Thanksgiving situations, right? Avoid all of those situations where you're going to be around a lot of people. One, for your own protection, but also for their protection because Scorpio, you guys have got a mouth. And that mouth is full of poison when it needs to be. And if you feel like you're in danger, you're not going to have any problem using it. Okay? So, remember, if you've shed in October, and that sounds like one of the craziest sentences ever, but I've said much worse, so we'll just go with it. If you've shed in October, make sure you remember that and you plan accordingly in November. Okay? December. Rebirth. Look at that, Scorpio. You're supposed to be happy, right? I'm just going to go through this trimester for a minute. You're supposed to be happy because you've completed all of this stuff from up here. But it feels like you're dying. So, you decide, time to shed that exoskeleton. Let's take some time by ourselves. Right around our birthday time, we're going to go ahead and shed it. So that way we can be reborn. All of what we just learned is going to be a part of us now. We're reborn. So let's take a look at this rebirth card for a few minutes. Because it's a very, very, very beautiful card, right? But it doesn't really show anything Scorpion-wise. It doesn't show anything with an exoskeleton. Although, let's take a look at her coat. She has, I'm going to call them wings. Various wings, various feathers that have created a coat for her. Okay, so depending on how they've been like put together, there's a very big chance that this is almost a shield of armor for her. Nothing can hurt her unless she allows it, which would be like your shell, your exoskeleton. She is totally confident within herself again. She knows everything fits. She's got wiggle room. She's perfectly fine. But I want you to take a look at those eyes. Is there anything that gets past those eyes? I don't think so. It's the same thing with you guys. Same thing with you, Scorpio. Nothing gets past those eyes. I mean, nothing. You see things that most people think are hidden. Okay? And it's not necessarily because you're psychic, although you do have really great psychic skills. And it's not necessarily because you're an empath, although you are usually very potent empaths. It's just because you sit there and you watch and watch and watch. And even when you're doing other things, you're still watching. Just kind of like how she's got all of this stuff going on. She's all aspects of everything. You're watching all aspects of everything. But take a look at all of the background, okay? Everything you've learned regarding yourself this year has given you a perception of everything you're going to continue to watch. So now you can kind of understand people a little bit better. You can offer advice if they're willing to take it. Much stronger advice, much better advice, much more pinpointed and potent advice for the situation because you guys went through it. Okay? All right, Scorpio, I know you're thinking, Maria, I'm going to find you and I'm going to kill you. I hate this year. I understand, Scorpio. I understand. And the people I know that are Scorpios, I think I'm going to unfriend them for a little while because I understand, Scorpio. Seriously, though, this reading is a really potent reading. It's something that you need, Scorpio. It's going to make you stronger. It's going to make you better. And honestly, Scorpio, also, I do a lot of shadow readings. I tell you the negative stuff, the stuff that most people think are negative, so that way you know it's coming. You know how to work through it, and you find your light. You become stronger. You become more enlightened after getting through the crap, okay? So, that's what this reading is. It's telling you, here's the crap. You're going to get through it. And not only are you going to get through it, you're going to get through it with flying colors. You're going to get through it, and you're going to be so much better, so much stronger because of it, okay? Now, in the beginning, we had made a statement that this is a general reading for all Scorpios. One of these months may not make any sense at all for you. It might not happen that way for you. It could be totally different for you because it wasn't specific to you. If you want a reading that is specific to you, down below in the information, you can follow out to the website and you can get your own reading, okay? Now, you might not want a 12-card reading. You might not want a year in advance reading. You might not want something like that. You might want to just ask a question. Totally fine. Message me. We can get that taken care of, okay? Also, lots of alsos, huh? This reading, if you loved it, please hit like. Please subscribe. That way you know when any other readings are available, because you know you liked the reading and you want to know what's going on. This was for Scorpio. So if you are a Scorpio Sun, but something else rising and something else moon, watch those signs for your moon and your rising. If you don't know what your moon and rising are, follow the website out under, I think it's services tab in the shop. There's what's your sign, baby? It's the offering to find out what your moon sign, what your sun sign, and what your rising or ascendant sign is, okay? Rising, ascendant is the same thing. It's just different words. All right. So, Scorpio, I hope you loved the reading. I'm beyond honored to read for you this year. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye.